Oh, yeah, we are back, baby. Too many men in the huddle with Cheech.
And Shea,
Jay, we missed you the last podcast, bud. I heard you had your period. Are you feeling a little better now?
a little bit, it got a little messy, but it's gone now.
I'm happy to hear that. Listen, Shay. So the last pod we did, we went over our picks the last time you were on here. It's that time of the week again. We're gonna go over the week 7 picks now. This is episode 6 that we're doing. Why don't you take us through Thursday night? What happened with the Eagles and the Giants game?
All right, so the NFC least at it again. This game was a close, and competitive game, but Giants blew it. They had an 11-point lead with 5 minutes left. Let the Eagles go right down the field, score a touchdown. Then Evan Ingram dropped a wide open, would have been a first down, game clinching catch. They would have been able to run out the clock from that point, more than likely. And then the defense, which honestly, I think the Giants' defense has been pretty good so far this year. But that being said, they always blow it when it counts. They blew a lead against the Cowboys the week before with Dak out. Against Washington, uh, they gave up the game tying touchdown. Washington just went for two and didn't get it, but they gave up the game tying touchdown as time was about to expire. So they could have blown it there. And then an 11-point lead with 5 minutes left. They let the Eagles score 12 points when they had only scored 10 points the entire game. So,
It sounds like a
I
Minnesota
mean,
Vikings loss. It looked exactly like the way the Vikings lose. It was like picture perfect. You guys had the lead with 5 minutes left, a double-digit lead, still gave it up. New York hasn't won back-to-back games. I don't know if you know the last time that they won two in a row was. Do you know? It was December of 2019. It's been quite some time.
yeah, whatever. Like, honestly, I'm so immune to it at this point. And then the Eagles, the Giants always find the most ridiculous ways to lose to the Eagles. Like, I don't believe any Giants game's over against the Eagles until like the clock hits zero. They just win the most ridiculous ways. I knew as soon as the Eagles scored that first touchdown, I was like, Giants are gonna lose this game.
You just got that
And
feel.
then yeah, just it's always the Giants. I think now have lost like 8 or 9 games in a row to the Eagles. Oh God, it's brutal. And honestly, the Giants are 3 plays away this season from being 4-2.
I know. I told you that. You guys are next year. You guys are definitely a wild card team. I think this year is like the last rebuilding year for you guys. Next year, you guys are going to be good. Your defense is really solid too. I'd be, kind of scared to play you guys next year.
Yeah, defense is a positive. Still blows some leads at the end of games. Uh, the offense, no weapons. The offensive line's pretty bad. Both guards have actually regressed a lot. Like Will Hernandez showed promise his rookie year, and he's gotten worse each year. And then Zeitler, who was an All Pro with the Browns, and then he played well on the Giants last year. He's regressed too. Like he's just not the same player. Their number 4 overall pick, Andrew Thomas, got benched against Washington. They re-put him in this week. Uh, he's by far the worst of the offensive tackles that got picked in the first round this year. He's getting brutalized. So whatever. The Eagles suck, but the Giants suck a little bit more. Let's move on. Let's move on to the games that matter. So this Sunday we have the Browns at the Bengals. Browns are 4-2. Bengals are 1-4-1. What do you got for me, buddy?
Yeah, Shay. So the Browns are a 3-point favorite here. The over/under is 51 and a half. The Browns came back down to earth last week, and I thought that it was going to be a Browns winning streak and they were going to go into Pittsburgh. They haven't beat Pittsburgh the last 14 tries in Pittsburgh, and they came back down to earth. It's okay. Cleveland is fourth in points a game, first in rush yards per game. Their next year is going to be the year for the Bengals. I still think it's a year too early. The Browns are a 3-point favorite in Cincinnati. Everyone is going to be hyping and hopping onto the Bengals bandwagon, I think, because they see a lot of promise in Burrow. They had a big lead against the Colts last week, still ended up losing, and now they feel like they're home. They're going to beat the Browns fair and square. It's a division game, the first game against the Browns. The Bengals only held it to a 5-point game. I think the Browns are going to blow them out. It would probably like a 24-10, 24-17 kind of game. What are your thoughts, Shay?
So I think this game's going to be kind of high scoring because the Bengals defense really isn't that good. Um, They're also inconsistent, but you'd expect of a young team, young quarterback. Mixon is out this week. That's official now, so he's not going to play. Um, I just think the Browns are the better team. We talked about this a little bit last week. The Browns are in a tier of good teams, but then they played one of my better teams, the Steelers. Told you about that
By the way,
defense.
what do you have the Steeler as in your power rankings?
Power rankings. I still have them at 3.
You do? Okay. Yeah, I do too. I
Yeah,
just wanted to say if you had
I
them.
have 3 AFC teams in the top. I have KC 1 still, the Titans 2. Titans jumped up big for me,
Me too.
and then the Steelers are 3. So that
Fair enough.
that rounds that out. To me, I think the Browns are going to put up 38 points in this game. I think they're going to win 38-24. So it'll be like back and forth a little bit close, but I think eventually the Browns will pull away. They're the more talented team all around. The only thing the Bengals are better at, I think, is quarterback. But
Yeah. The next game, we got the 2-4 Cowboys at the 1-5 football team. The over under is 47.5, and Dallas is actually a 1-point favorite. I think it swung. This was on Thursday. I think it swung. Washington's actually a 1-point favorite now, John. What do you have for us, Shea?
I think it's going to be close. More NFC least action. We have 2 games this week. One's already happened. Cowboys can actually take over first place if a win here, which is ridiculous. Yeah, so I think the Cowboys are going to win. I mean, what's going on with their quarterback in Washington? Is it Kyle Allen? Is it Alex Smith? Like, I'm pretty sure Kyle Allen's still playing this week. Um, I'm going to go with Dallas. Dallas still, to me, is the most talented team in this division, with or without Dak. Like, they have players. Their defense is underachieving this year, and they've just had a lot of injuries. They've lost their quarterback, their left tackle before the season. Their all-pro center retired. They're just really beat up. Van Der Esch is injured on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I just think they're good enough to beat Washington, because I think Washington's probably one of the worst teams in the league. They have some very good defensive linemen, good players in their front 7, but overall, they're just not a very good team. I think Dallas wins this game 24-21. What do you got?
Yeah, I think the only positive for the football team is the front 7. Chase Young is a stud. I think their front 7 is great. Aside from that, the secondary needs work. Their offense needs work. Their quarterback needs work. Their offensive line needs work. Everything else needs work. Their head coach, I love. But aside from that, Dallas is top 3 in yards per game, points per game, pass yards per game, and the football team is the bottom 20 in all those categories. So I see Dallas scoring a lot of points. I see the football team not being able to stop them. I when you have that feeling, I just feel like Dallas is going to kind of pull away and score a lot. I think Dallas wins 20-30. Next game, though, the Steelers at the Titans, the 5-0 Steelers got at the 5-0 Titans. Pittsburgh was a 2-point favorite. I think the line has swapped all the way to Titans -1.5. The over-under is 51. And this is your top, 2 of your top 3 AFC teams right here, John.
Yep. My number 2 and 3 team. And that's the difference for me. I have the Titans 2. I have the Steelers 3. I think this is going to be a bloodbath. These are both really physical football teams. I think the emergence of Claypool for Pittsburgh has given them a different dimension in their passing game. They are so great at drafting wide receivers. If you just go down the list, it's ridiculous. They never really have to pay anybody. They just replace them with a second or third round pick all the time. But that being said, even though I think their defense is still the best in the league by far, hands down, I think the Titans, people don't realize this, Tannehill in his last 16 games starting has better numbers than Mahomes. Yes.
As far as what, like yards per game, passing, completion?
Yards, completion percentage, interceptions. He has more rushing yards. He has played. Yeah, his last. Yeah, people do not realize that his last 16 games, he's on par. It's close. Mahomes, it's still close. Yeah, their stats are almost identical. Tannehill's is a little bit better over that same span.
Very interesting.
Just nuts. Yeah, Tennessee to me is the more complete team. I think their defense hasn't really played up to the standard that I think they're capable of this year. But their offensive line, the running game with Derrick Henry, AJ Brown is back now at wide receiver. It looks like Johnny Smith avoided injury. It looks like he's going to play this week too. Tannehill has played. Tannehill's kind of creeping into that zone of where, like he's kind of in the mid tier, like that second group of people. He'll never be in the top tier for me. He would need like 5 years.
But he's better. He's better than like the Kirk Cousins, the Matt Ryans, like.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have Tennessee winning 21-17. Kind of like a brutal, low-scoring game. This is a low-scoring game in 2020, which is ridiculous. But
yeah,
this is what I got. What do you think?
Yeah, I say it's pretty much the same thing. Wow, we actually agree on a lot of these picks so far. I have the Titans winning as well. I know Pittsburgh's they're number one in rush defense, but they haven't faced Derrick Henry yet. I mean, the guy when remember Dickerson, the running back, he reminds me exactly of that. He runs straight up. He looks like a refrigerator just going. It's insane to watch. Yeah. It's nuts. And Pittsburgh hasn't faced a running.
Heavier though.
Yeah. Pittsburgh hasn't faced a running back like this yet. I mean, the guy's just an animal. I think he had like 200 rush yards last game against the Texans. I mean, Pittsburgh's no, Houston, but I think Tennessee is going to win. I got the Titans scoring 30. I'm going to say the Titans win 30-21.
I don't think so.
I love Henry. And look, Tannehill's playing at an MVP level. I mean, people, like you said, people don't realize it, but he is. He's playing at an MVP level. I don't even think he has an interception yet this year. So he's playing lights out, no turnovers. As long as you don't turn the ball over, hey, I'm going to pick you to win. The Lions, the 2-4 Lions at the 1-5 Falcons, Shea. The Falcons are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under stands at 57. What do you got?
I think the Falcons are going to win 2 in a row.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they have enough talent. I'm really surprised they haven't started to trade off their pieces. I think we talked about this, rebuild in Atlanta. They really should start trading some of these veteran pieces away and see what they can get, because I think it's time to tear it down. They already fired their GM and their head coach, but just based on talent, the Lions are kind of like a dumpster fire. Patricia is probably that next coach, along with Adam Gase, who still has a freaking job. Patricia and Gase are. Gase is going to coach the Jets for the next 5 years. I'm going to just laugh my ass off. They're going to refuse to fire him. So I have the Falcons squeaking this one out, 31-27. What are your thoughts on this game?
Detroit hasn't won back-to-back games since week 5 and 6 of 2018. That's how long it's been since Detroit has won back-to-back games. This is their second straight road game. I don't know when the last time they won back-to-back road games was. That's probably even longer of a streak. Detroit all time is 24-13 against Atlanta. They won 7 of the last 13 against Atlanta. And look, I like the Lions winning this game, to be honest with you. Before the season started, I had the Lions going 8-8. I kind of feel like they're on the cusp of playoffs. They have the talent. They upgraded their defense during the draft. Patricia, he's playing for his job. I like them winning this game, sneaking it out. The 4-2 Bills at the 0-6 helpless Jets. Shea, the over-under is 46, and the Bills are actually 14-point favorites. What do you got for us, Shea?
Yeah, I would take that 14 to the bank. They're going to blow them out.
Yeah.
The Jets are going to be our blowout pick every single week. They're terrible.
Yes.
We talk about Adam Gase. He's the worst coach in the league. I don't know how he ever gets a job after this again.
Remember a couple years ago when the Jets hired him and they were like, yeah, he's the offensive genius of the league.
Yeah, it's really easy to be offensive genius when Peyton Manning is your quarterback.
Yeah.
He's calling the plays, and it's his playbook.
Yeah.
I could have been the OC, and I could have gotten millions of dollars from the freaking New York Jets and Miami Dolphins for a few years. But no, they're going to get destroyed. I think the Bills are mad. They lost 2 straight, I think, since they started 4-0.
2 straight against the 2 best teams in the AFC, though.
Yeah, that is true. I think the Bills get back on track this week. The Jets are going to be everyone's back on track game.
Yeah.
Poor Trevor Lawrence might have to go back to college to make sure he doesn't go to the Jets.
I was reading up on that. They said that he might do that. But
what if the Jets have the first pick the next year?
Imagine.
So 38-13, Bills take the win. every single week we're going to be picking blowouts against the Jets. What
Yeah.
do you got?
I mean, honestly, Shay, I don't even know how, the Jets are going to score 13. I have the Bills 31-9. I don't think the Jets are going to score a touchdown. The Jets are 0-6, 0-6 against the spread. Buffalo coming off the second straight loss. Like I said, they lost to Kansas City. They lost to the Titans, the two best teams in the AFC. The teams have split every series since 2016. It's not going to happen this year. The Bills are just a new team, new talent. Allen is 14 touchdowns, 2 picks. I said this on the top 10 in the last episode. I still have the Bills in my top 10. A lot of people don't, but as long as you don't ask Allen to do too much, this is the Jets. He's going to be fine, but going forward, just don't ask him to do too much. Have him manage the game instead of putting the ball into his hands. I think the Bills are going to do just fine. Bounce back game, 31-9. The 4-1 Packers, Shea. At the 1-5 Texans. This is so scary to me because you see a 4-1 team versus a 1-5 team, and the spread is only 3.5. That worries me.
Yeah, that is. Vegas does know something. I just think how that game last week against Tampa went, where Tampa just destroyed them. I think Green Bay is going to recover this week, and I think they're going to win the game. I think it's going to be close though, like within a touchdown. I have the Packers winning 31-24. I just think the Packers have the better team. Devontae Adams is back now. We're unsure if Aaron Jones is going to play. I believe he's going to play.
Yeah, it was
Rodgers. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers was playing at an MVP level before last week. I think they get it back together. Like LaFleur, he's only lost 4 regular season games since he's been head coach last year. He's actually done really well.
but they're all blowouts if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, they do lose to good teams, but good for them. They're not playing a good team this week. They're playing the Texans. So I still think they're going to win. I think Deshaun Watson is out there on an island. Will Fuller's actually playing really well when he's healthy. He plays great. The problem is he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Go Irish. But I think the Packers are going to win this game.
Yeah. So Rodgers threw his 3rd ever career pick 6 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was his 3rd pick 6 in his career. That's insane to me. If anything, because Rodgers is not going to be known as the best quarterback ever, obviously, right? So I think he'll be known as the most efficient. 3 pick 6s in your whole career. That's insane. Packers beat up on bad teams. It's their motto ever since LaFleur got in as a head coach. The good teams they get blown out with. And I even remember last year when they went to LA and played the Chargers, they got blown out. It was like a 20-point blow up, I think that Houston is pissed. They just got off an overtime loss to the Titans, big division game. I think the Packers win, but they squeak out the victory. I'm going to go 33-30. They don't cover. Vegas knows something. The spread should be 7, and it's 3.5. I don't think the Packers cover. I'm going to say 33-30 Green Bay. And I think that was the last of all the 1 o'clock games on Sunday. You got the 4:05 game, John?
Yeah, so actually, we're going to go with this game. This game got moved to the 8 o'clock game on Sunday.
Yeah.
That card.
Yep,
they moved it because the Bucks and Raiders, the Raiders, like their whole offensive line got sent home.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's looking like just Trent Brown's going to miss the game. That the other 4 linemen are going to be able to play.
Oh, they're all good.
But, I mean, yeah. So they should be fine. NFL just wanted to make sure they had an 8 o'clock Sunday night game. They didn't want to lose that window.
Yep.
But we'll still talk about Hawks and Cardinals. Hawks are 5-0. Cardinals beat up on the Cowboys last week on Monday Night Football in the later game. The Seahawks, even though their defense is actually, I think they're the worst defense in the league, they're not playing well at all. Like they should be playing a lot better than they are. I still think they are the cream of the crop in this division because of Russell Wilson, their wide receivers, Lockett, Metcalf. I like their running backs. I think they have players on defense like Wagner and Adams that they can get this turned around. And I just have trust in their culture, their head coach, their system. I think they are the more talented team. I can see the Cards over the next few years creeping into this.
I agree.
Because I love Kyler Murray as a player. I think he's going to be very good. He's kind of up and down, but that running running ability kind of washes away a lot of his interceptions. I think the Hawks take this 28-21. What are your thoughts on this?
So you bring up a lot of good points. And the thing that scares me, I think we went over this 2 episodes ago. Seattle has the worst defense through 5 games in NFL history, and they're still 5-0. So that's kind of scary to me. The Cardinals could put up points against bad defenses. We just saw that against the Cowboys. They put up 28, and they only gave up 10 against that Cowboys offense, which is good. So the Cardinals they're frisky. They're really feisty. They could beat up on bad teams. They could keep it close against good teams. Total, these teams met 42 times. All-time record split down the middle. There's no favorite really in the all-time record. The Hawks are off a bye, and Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson are 7-3 off a bye, 8-2 against the spread off of a bye. So they're well rested. Having said that, I'm taking the Cardinals with the spread. I think the Hawks win by a point. The Seahawks win 28-27. Next game, we got the 3-3 San Francisco 49ers at the 2-3 Patriots. The Patriots are a 2.5-point favorite. Over-unders at 45. What do you got?
I think the Patriots finally get back on track. They've had a weird few weeks. They had their game against the Broncos pushed back a week. They didn't get to, I think they practiced like one day or something. Belichick made a quote after the game saying, we obviously need practice because we looked like it. I was shocked they lost to the Broncos, honestly. I think the 49ers, even though they got right last week against the Rams, good call by you. I did not see that coming. I kind of thought there was going to continue that Super Bowl hangover. We talked about that. Teams average Super Bowl losers average 3.5 more losses the following season, following a Super Bowl loss. And then the winner, it's something like a game and a half is what they're off by. That being said, I love the Patriots secondary. Bill Belichick is the greatest coach ever. It's in New England. I think the Patriots get back. We've talked about them. They're kind of been like middling, like around 500 all season, but they definitely are better than their record shows to me. And I think a game like this, I think the Patriots get right. I think it's going to be really close, ugly. That's how the Patriots are winning now. So the Patriots 23-20 is my pick in this game. I just don't trust Garoppolo.
I hear you 100%. And what we're seeing in the NFL, Shea, is a lot of letdown spots. The Eagles upset the Niners one week, and everyone was shocked by that. Last week, the Niners upset the Rams. Everyone was shocked by that. It's the spot, right? And the Niners are coming off a big win on Sunday Night Football against the Rams. No one expected it. And I think they're going to come in flat against the Patriots. I think the Patriots are also going to win too. I have a very low scoring game, 19-16. I feel a lot of field goals happening on both ends of the football. By the way, just for reference, the Niners lead the all-time series 8-5, but they're 1-4 in their last 5 against the Patriots. So I see the same thing happening. I have the Patriots winning 19-16. Next game, you got the next game, Shea?
Yeah. So Chiefs at Broncos. Chiefs are 5-1. Broncos are 2-3 off that shocking win against the Patriots last week in New England. I think the Chiefs. They lost to the Raiders. They came back. They beat the Bills. I think that the Chiefs have kind of just owned this division in the last few. Ever since like Peyton kind of went down and retired, they've taken over the division. Whether it was Alex Smith, now it's Mahomes. Reed has a good record against everybody. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. To me, their offense is super explosive, but they've seen sloppy. It's taken them a while to get going in each game. I don't know how much Lev Bell is going to play this game. I thought Edwards-Helaire was fine.
I don't think Le'Veon Bell is playing at all. He has to go through his physicals and stuff like that. The next game he's playing.
Okay. Regardless, Chiefs are going to win 28-20. I think the Broncos, we talked about this prior to the season. We both had them as like a surprise wild card team. But then I kind of backed off them once the Von Miller injury happened. And then they got like beat up the first week of the season. And it's kind of derailed them a little bit. Chiefs are the better team. Chiefs continue to be my best team in the league. They're not playing well, and they're still beating the crap out of almost everybody, aside from that Raider game. So Chiefs are my winner, 28-20. What do you have?
Yeah, you bring up a good point. They're not playing well, but they're still 5-1, which is kind of crazy. I'm off the Chiefs bandwagon. I had them at number 4 in my top 10 because yeah, I know. And because they're not firing on all cylinders, I think we're so used to seeing the Chiefs being this dominant team, and we kind of take it for granted when they're not firing on all cylinders, and they're still 5-1. I just don't know what Denver's identity is. We went into the season like we were saying, right? We had them both as a wild card team until the Von Miller thing happened. They were all about defense. They still are about defense, but I just don't know what their identity is because they're winning on field goals and they're kind of all over the place. They're not firing in all cylinders either. Kansas City has the all-time lead against Denver. They played over 100 times. Kansas City is 65-55 for anyone who cares about the all-time records. I think that's pretty interesting. The last two were blowouts. The Chiefs just absolutely derailed the Broncos by 20 points. And I see more of the same, to be honest with you. The spread is 9. I think that the Chiefs cover and win 33-23.
Okay. All right. I have the next game over here. Not a good game if you look at the records. 1-5 Jags at the 1-4 Chargers. I think the Chargers have played a lot better than their record shows. Herbert's looked awesome. Hunter Henry's looked good. Eckler's been out, but they picked right up with Justin Jackson last week. The receivers, something about the Chargers, they always find ways to lose games. That should come down to coaching. I personally I like Anthony Lynn. Like when I hear him speak and I've seen like NFL films with him in it and everything, he looks like a really like stand up, disciplined, intelligent head coach. But there's just something off about them. They always find ways to lose games in just absolutely excruciating like ways. Um, that being said, Jaguars are probably one of the worst teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Chargers have way too much talent. I actually have them winning this game pretty easily, 28-17. I really like Justin Herbert. It looks like the Giants might have made a mistake by not picking him
Hmm.
because they did pass him over. And we'll see about Tua because Tua is taking over for Fitzpatrick, but they also picked Tua over Herbert. So that's going to just be very interesting. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but overall, what are your thoughts on the game?
So LA has the most one possession losses since last year. 13 one possession losses from last year. Uh,
Oh,
9 out of the last 11 have been by one possession losses. 9 of the last 11 losses were by one possession, rather. Um, but when they're a favorite, they are 0-2 in the past 2 games of the past 2 years as a favorite. So they play when they're not supposed to do well, but when they're supposed to do well, they fall flat. That's their kind of their motto. And you know what? I'm just going with what the history is showing me. At first I had the Chargers blowing them out. The more because I see this line move, it opened up at Chargers -7.5. It dropped to Chargers -6.5. It means a lot of money's coming in on the Jaguars, which means that Jaguars are probably going to cover. I think that LA wins, but the Jaguars cover. I'm going to go 26-20 LA.
okay.
Um,
Bucks at 4-2, Raiders at 3-2. What do you got?
yeah, so Tampa Bay is a 3-point favorite. The over under is 53.5. And this is kind of a wacky line to me too. The Bucks just come off a major win against the Packers. You'd expect this line to be 5-6 points. It's only 3. It's kind of skeptical, kind of shady on my end. Just because you just beat the best team in the NFL. I think Vegas is expecting Tampa Bay to have a little flat spot. Same thing with the Niners and Rams last week that we saw. Everyone is saying, how is the spread only 3 points? And then we saw the Niners straight up win. I think that the Patriots, look at this, Brady, right? The Bucks win by a point, just like the Seahawks game. I think that it's going to be very close. Brady's 5-1 all time against the Raiders. Derek Carr is a silent MVP. No one's really talking about him. He only has 1 interception on the year. His completion percentage is 70%. But here's where I kind of hop off the bandwagon. The Bucks are the best team in the NFC, and the Raiders are fat and happy, right? After they beat the Chiefs in Kansas City, they had a bye. and now they're going to come back and play the best team in the NFC. I think Tampa Bay wins 24-23 by 1 point. But the Raiders do cover the spread. What do you think?
I think the Bucks are going to win by a touchdown, like 28-21. It still will be a close game on the field. I think Tampa Bay is going to come down a little bit after last week. The Raiders have had a week to prepare. This is sort of a revenge game for Gruden because he's going back. He's playing his old team, the Bucks. I know he's back with the Raiders now. That was originally his old team. Uh, I agree with you. I think the Buccaneers. We've talked about this. They've looked very just like stagnant, very ugly. Even when they do score points, their offense. Last week was the first week that it kind of looked like it started clicking, and not a lot of people are talking about this. Their defense, it's for real, man. Like I still think the Steelers have the best defense, but the Bucks might be in that next like grouping of teams. Their pass rush, their secondary. Todd Bowles done a very good job with that defense. Um, they're just the better team to me. And I don't know if you know this, they signed Antonio Brown yesterday
I saw.
to a 1 year deal.
Yep.
Yep. No matter what you think about him, I mean, he's a nut job, but he is extremely talented. Uh, can you imagine Brady throwing the ball to Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin in the slot? Gronk, even Gronk diminished. He had a good week last week. Even diminished as a fourth option. That's insane, man. I mean, I think they're going to start to pick up their form. You got to remember, this is a new offense for Brady, new players for the first time like 20 years of his career. I think they're going to start to take off and really separate themselves. This reminds me a lot of when Favre went to the Vikings. It started off slow the first few weeks of the season, and then before you knew it, they were in the NFC Championship game, and they probably should have won that game. I know you feel that way.
Yeah.
Not to bring up like sore subjects. We can talk about any NFC Championship for you. It's a sore subject, more than likely.
Yeah.
41-0.
Thanks, Shea. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Had to. Yeah, I have the Bucks.
Yeah. I just want to throw one more thing in there. Ever since the bye from last year that the Bucks had, their defense has been top 5 from their bye last year all the way up till now. So they just turned it around unbelievably. And 10 points against the Green Bay Packers, man. That's some serious stuff. They did really well. The Monday night game, the 5-1 Bears, the fluke, unbelievably overrated 5-1 Bears that are not even in my top 10 still at the 4-2 Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are a 5.5-point favorite. Over unders at 45.5. I'm not even going to pass it off to you. I'm going to go first. The Rams are going to blow them out. I think the Rams are going to absolutely smash them. I don't think the Bears are going to score more than 10 points. The Bears defense versus the Rams offense is going to be interesting to see. The Rams, the Bears have not played an explosive offense like the Rams yet. But they played the Bucks. The Bucks were not firing on any cylinders when they played them. Fluke team. I can't get enough of this Bears team. And after the Rams win on Monday, we're all going to say, wow, why did we even? Because I know you probably have the Bears in your top 10, and everyone's going to say, oh my God, this Bears team sucks. They don't even belong in the league right now. Matt Nagy, Nick Foles, and Mitch Trubisky. I could punt the ball closer to the receivers than these guys could throw it to him. Allen Robinson is wasting his career in Chicago. He needs to go on a contending team. The Bears, just like the Vikings, just like the Falcons, in 2015 to 2016, Vikings started out 5-0, Falcons started out 5-0, both ended 8-8. I see the Bears happening the same way, 8-8. Fluke. Rams win 24-10. Shea.
Are you ready to get Big Dick nicked this week? That's what's going to happen to you, buddy.
No way.
You can keep talking about it. The Bears have actually fared very well against the McVay Rams. Last 2 years, they lost a close game on the road on Monday night last year, I believe. And then the year before, they smacked them on Sunday Night Football. Like completely, it was in Chicago. It was cold. I understand this is in LA. That Bears defense is real, as it has been the last few years. And there's just something about Big Dick Nick. He's going to give the dick to the Rams this weekend, buddy. They just do just enough on offense to win. And this is my opinion. I'm not saying Aaron Donald is soft, but to me, the Rams are just a soft team. They're a soft finesse type team, and the Bears are like a rugged defensive kind of grinded out win team. I think it's going to be close. I have the Bears by 1 point, 21-20. The Pretenders continue, baby. I'm with you. I do not think they are as good as their record. Not even close, but they keep winning these games. They're gonna win 9, 10 games, dude. It's at
No,
this point, like, yes, they are.
no, they're not. Shea, they're gonna finish 8-8. I swear, I see it. I see it from a mile away. They'll finish 8-8.
You get to play the Lions and the freaking Vikings, who are garbage too. You just traded away Ngakwe to the Ravens, right?
Uh, yeah, we did for 2 picks.
Yeah, so they're gonna squeak out these like a few wins. Like I'm telling you, they're a playoff team. Now, do I think they're gonna win the division? No, I still think the Packers are the better team. When they play the Packers, I would expect the Packers to beat them both times. Easy. I just think they're gonna be a playoff team, dude, and they're gonna be dangerous in the first round. I don't know about the entire playoffs. Like they play one of these like more upper echelon teams. Like they play the Buccaneers again later in the season in Tampa. I think they'll get their asses kicked.
Hmm.
I think if they played like Green Bay on the road in a playoff game, they get their ass kicked. Seahawks, same thing with Russell Wilson. There's just something about Nick Foles. He's the most mediocre quarterback ever. I still can't believe the Eagles won the Super Bowl. We all know Super Bowl's canceled that year. It didn't happen. This dude has a freaking statue outside of the Eagles Stadium, and they got rid of him for Wentz. So every time Wentz drives into that stadium, he has to go by that fucking statue of Nick Foles.
Wow.
Like, yeah, how crazy is that?
Wentz was having an MVP year that year too, and then Foles won the Super Bowl for him.
Yeah.
Wow.
To be fair to Wentz, his offensive line's completely beat up. They're on like their second and third stringers, and they have no receivers right now. Like
everyone's hurt.
Yeah. So I think he's better than they give him credit for. I still think he's not the same player since that injury, but I'm going to keep riding those pretenders. Pretenders to contenders, buddy.
Wow. All right. Fair enough. So last week, Shea, we both didn't do too well. I went 1-2 against the spread. I went 2-2. I gave out 4 picks because I had the Niners covering against the Rams that I loved. I had the Packers covering against the Bucks, which didn't happen. I had the Lions against the Jags that covered, and then I had the Giants not covering. And you also had the Giants that didn't cover. You said the Eagles were going to blow the Ravens. The Ravens are going to blow the Eagles out. That didn't cover. And you also had the
Miami over the Jets.
And that covered. Okay, just to get it all cleared out. And this week, what are your top 3 this week, Shea?
Okay, we talked about Browns and Bengals. I think the Browns are going to win by 14, so I obviously have them. I have the Lions. They're 2.5-point favorites. I picked the Falcons to win by 4, so I have that game. And then my other one, whoever plays the Jets. Whoever plays the Jets. I don't care what the spread is. If it's 50, if it's 80, I'm going to pick that other team to cover it. I had the Bills beating the Jets by 25 points this week, so that's going to cover the 14. What do you think? What are your picks, buddy?
All right. So you went 1-2 last week. I went 2-2 last week. The week before that, we both went over 500. I went 5-0. You went 4-1 the week before. We're going to get back on a winning track this week. I love the Titans get a -1. I think they're the best team in the AFC, even in front of the Chiefs. I like them beating up on the Steelers just because they're at home. If they were in Pittsburgh, might be a little different. I'll take the Titans -1.5. So I also like the New England Patriots -2. I think it's a flat spot for San Francisco after they beat the Rams. Everyone's going to be high on San Fran. They're going to go in there a little fat and happy. I'd never bet against Belichick. And my game of dude, this is my pick of the year so far. My last pick of the year last week was the Niners. This pick of the year, bro, right here. Book it, guys. Don't listen to Shea. Book it, dude. I have the Rams just annihilating the Bears. Take them -5.5. Take them -7. Take them -10. The Rams are just going to blow the Bears out. Those are my top 3 picks. So we got One more time for clarification: the Titans, we got the Patriots, and we got the Rams. Rams easily, guys, easy.
Are you getting ready to spread your cheeks extra wide so Nick can fit in there? I mean, you might have to start practicing now so he can get it in there for you. But whatever, keep denying. Every single year, there's a team that shouldn't be doing well, and they overachieve. I think the Bears are that team this year. Okay?
Yeah.
Do I think it's sustainable long term? No, but they are definitely inching towards being a playoff team.
All right.
There's an extra wild card. We disagree. That's fine.
Yes, we definitely do. You're nuts. The Bears suck. And that pretty much wraps it up, guys. Shea, you have any closing words about your cramps or anything? Are you feeling a lot better from last week, not being able to join the show? And how'd you like this show, buddy?
I think we did well today, as always.
All right.
I'm fine, baby.
All right.
I'm good. Some of us have to work,
Until next time, guys, like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Thanks for everything. Too many men in the huddle. We'll see you next week. Peace.